Good morning, all. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey and my little Lily girl. Yes, yes, it is about, let's say, it's about 12:30 a.m. and it's April 22, 2018. Yes. I want to talk about two things today. I want to talk about the late Art Bell. Yes, today, around maybe 5 o'clock today, I learned of his passing. He actually passed away on Friday the 13th. And I did a live stream on Friday the 13th. And it was just by chance that I saw something on his passing. I don't have a television and I don't listen to radio, but I listen to my YouTube, and I was watching something actually on Queen Elizabeth's birthday. Her birthday was Saturday, and she turned 92. So I was watching that, and then I saw one of the thumbnails, something about someone's tribute, so-and-so's tribute on Art Bell, for Art Bell. And I said, that sounds kind of peculiar. What's up? I haven't heard from Art Bell in a long time. And then I clicked on the yes, hello viewer. Yes, good morning. Yeah, good morning. I'm glad that you're up. And Lily's with me also. My little Havanese, my other two dogs are around. Oh, my little boy's down below. And my other little girl, she's hiding behind the chair. We're all doing okay. And today's Hello Sunday. This one's a little bit more on the serious side, but it's okay. It'll be fine. Yes, I found out about the late Art Bell. Art Bell he was a very famous radio talk show host. And I want to talk about how I learned about Art Bell. Excuse me. How I learned about him. Yes, hello, new viewer. Yes, hello. I'm going to, as I said earlier, I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to talk about the late Art Bell, and I want to talk about a movie that I just came back from. I Feel Pretty. That's the name of the movie. I'm not going to really discuss the movie, but just what I learned about the movie and tie it in with the late Art Bell. Well, I learned about Art Bell, let me see, late 98 or 99 or early 99. At that time, I was living in Maui. It's part of Hawaii, the state of Hawaii. And back then I was doing baking and retail. And I was given a radio, like a clock radio. And I rented a room in a house right in the town of Lahaina. And one of the housemates, he decided, he was going through like a midlife crisis, and he learned what was really more important for him. Like, he's from the mainland. He was a white fellow from, I'm not sure what state he's from, but he moved to Maui to live the bachelor lifestyle, and he learned how to be a scuba diver. And what else? Yeah, and just kind of live wild and everything. And he gets his license, and he got his license to teach scuba diving. And I think I think it was still there at Thanksgiving. and he realized how he was missing back home on the mainland. And okay, I'll put you down. The little doggy wants to get down. Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, he shared with me some I thought was very valuable information. Something to really think about. Now, he goes through all this to relocate to Maui, which is like considered like a dream place for many people, and he's wants to live like the freestyle life and just really hang loose. And then the holidays hit, it was Thanksgiving, and he had gotten some calls from the mainland, and he was missing back home. And he also had a little girl. Girl might have been maybe 4 or 6 years old, living with the mom. And he wasn't married to his daughter's mother, but he started thinking. He said, I came here and to live the life, and he decided. He said, my little girl's getting bigger, and I decided, he said, to move back to the mainland and to be with his daughter. And what I thought it was really sweet. And then he also said he wanted to be a priest. Wow. But yeah, this is what he's telling me. He said, I don't want to do this lifestyle anymore. I'm going to go back to the mainland, be with this little girl, and be there for the holidays for her, and to become a priest. And so he had a bicycle and a clock radio. And he said, look, I can't, take it with me. You don't want them. I said, sure, I take it. And so I turned it on. Let's see. Back then I worked in baking. And so some of my, depending on which shift I'm on, if I'm the late shift, then I get home at 10 or 11 p.m. And so when I got home, I turned on the radio, and I back then I liked and still like talk radio, things about discussions and everything. And I would just turn in the dial, and I find Art Bell, but it was really, really faint. The signal wasn't good at all. But for whatever reason, I just kept it on that station. I couldn't really find any other talk radio at this time, late at night. And then, what was that? Oh, then at my new job, they had a radio in the shop. This was in retail. And then they turned it on, and it was on his station, or I was dialing through, and then I found him, and we had a good reception. It was really clear, and I was fascinated with the show. It was the first time listen to a show like Art Bell. Art Bell talked about anything that's odd. He talked about the paranormal. That's what I really know him from, paranormal. And I liked his, what they call the bumper music. I liked the very, 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 very beginning. His theme song was from the movie The Chase. That movie came out in the 1970s, but I remember the theme song, The Chase, and that would be the beginning. So I always knew, oh wow, the Art Bell show's gonna come on, and I used to listen to it and everything. It was a comfort for me. Like, I lived in Maui, and I lived there all by myself, and in a new career, and then now another. I had gotten a new job because my other job I got let go, And so I'm just trying to take things one day at a time. And so this was a new topic for me. I'm on a new island. I don't know anyone there. And so I was just starting out in life down there in Maui. And I liked his voice. I loved Art Bell's voice. And I remember I couldn't really remember his name. I never heard of that his name before. It was I thought it exotic at the time. It was just one of those names I just couldn't really remember. And but I remember I wanted to talk about him to a new coworker. I said, "Wow, have you ever heard of this guy? You know, he has this show that comes on." And but no, the coworker, he wasn't really interested. But I was just fascinated. So I felt kind of weird that I liked his show, and back then I don't think a lot of people were into paranormal or it was just one of those topics. But yeah, I remember his show. I remember he used to talk about chemtrails. Again, this is in '99 now, 1999, and I even though I heard a lot of shows, a lot of his shows he talked about chemtrails, but I still didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't. I didn't know what chemtrails was. See, all that genre was completely new to me, and I just really liked his voice. As a teenager, I listened to a lot of radio, but I mostly, as a teen and in my early 20s, listened to music. But there was someone that came on air. There were two people. They were nice. I think it was Alan B. Combs, I think his name was, and one other person. But then I kind of stopped. I didn't listen to them anymore, or my change in music and everything. But as I got older, at one point I wasn't listening to any radio or any music. And back then in '99, I really wasn't into music, but I slowly started getting more into music, and that was only because I what do you call it? Because I started to drive. In Hawaii, you need a car, and I had to get to this job that was very far from me, and so it had a radio in the car. So I turned on the radio to, when I was going to and from work, and I started listening to music. And then I also started again when I got home. I couldn't wait to get home and turn on my radio there and really listen to Art Bell. And I think, like with Art Bell, his show in Hawaii, it came on twice. I think it actually started at 8 p.m. and then I think it ended at 10, and then it came back on again. I'm not 100% sure of the time, but I remember it was it had come on, and then it was over, and then it started again, and maybe it came back on at 1 a.m. But I remember like it would finish at 5 a.m. in the morning, and then I would go to sleep, and then get up at 7 a.m. So that's just 2 hours of sleep, but I loved it. His show was so entertaining. I really liked it. It gave me a lot of comfort. I mean, it sounds weird to say that. It was just, because it was just me by myself, and his topics were just really different. And let's see, my favorite show with Art Bell, I think it was 3 shows. He did this one interview with this guy who, I think he was a Mormon, or he lived in Utah or something. He wrote this book about, The Secret Life of Jesus, or something that was different, some occult um, info regarding the Bible and Jesus, and it was fantastic. I was glued. I even purchased the book back then. I don't have the book now. I wish I could remember the exact name, but it was just something, stories about the Jesus of the Bible. And I remember, see, back then also in '99, Art Bell had, well, his show was called Coast to Coast. And I think it was also Dreamland, but at least Coast to Coast, the name of the show. What was that now? I'm trying to get my thoughts together. Well, boy, I can't say when this happens, but it's all good though. That, yeah, that was one of my favorite shows with the Bible thing, and yeah, it was very. Oh, I remember. He had his show archived. Yeah, that's right. If you missed his show, and if you had a computer back then, the job that I was at, they had a computer, and I was just really learning about the internet, and yeah, his show was archived, and then I found that one, that particular interview, and I played it on my job, and it upset some of the coworkers there. Yeah, it was a really weird experience. I had it on like a radio, but it was internet radio. Many jobs. People. I worked at a computer. I did enter data and everything, and the manager gets all upset, and he turns it off. It was a very weird experience. Yeah, see, his shows, Art Bell shows, were controversial at times, and some of his topics could press buttons. Again, Art Bell was only interviewing this person. It's not his personal belief. But back then in '99 and 2000, when I heard that particular interview, things were still kind of traditional. I never heard anybody talk about anything paranormal or occult information and things like that. And then the other show I liked about his that he did is with this lady, and she was like a relative of what's his name? J. Edgar Hoover. Yeah, this woman found out when she was a young girl that J. Edgar Hoover was actually a cousin. I'm not sure whether second or third cousin, but they're cousins. And this was, I think, back in the 1950s or 60s, and he was on television, and the little girl was saying how she's kind of afraid of the guy on the TV, and then the girl's father said, "Look, you're not to let anybody else know, but he's actually a cousin, and he's actually a black man." And I guess after J. Edgar Hoover died, her curiosity about who this man really was, and she wrote a book about him, about the real J. Edgar Hoover, and discuss his lineage and how he kept secret about his true racial identity. So that was my other favorite. Yes, very, very compelling. It was really interesting. I think there might have been one more show. Well, at least those two are my favorite shows with them. And yeah, what I liked about Art Bell, I liked the sound of his voice. He had a very nice voice, and I didn't know that he was a smoker. I didn't. So he sounded really cool, and then I found out later on that he was smoking the whole time, and that he was a chain smoker. Yeah, that really shocked me. Um, yeah, he just had a very suave voice. He sounded very mature, and one thing I liked also was that he never insulted his guest. He was always very, very respectful. And he did his job as an interviewer. That's his job. His job wasn't to judge anybody, just to interview. And I think that's how it should be. Because if you're not interviewing, then you're interrogating. And the police detectives, that's their job. But Art Bell, he respected his guests, and he made a good show. It was just his show was there at the right time, and some was, there were other tributes. I listened to at least one other tribute today, and I didn't know his show came out in the 1980s. Yeah. Again, it was like 10 years after did I just learn of Art Bell. Yeah, I don't know how I could have gotten him, but it was just at the right time, at the right moment, and I took it as entertainment. He was just pure entertainment. And when you're up, like, because I came home late from work, and I wasn't ready to just go to bed, but I would just wind down and listen to his radio show. It came out for a long, I think it was like a 5-hour show. I loved it. It was on, I think it was on every day. And I loved it. And I was not tired the next day. I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Yeah, he was, I never called in on his show. Never. But yeah, I started to get disappointed. Like he said that he was to leave his show or something, and he was gone, and then he came back again, and then I think it did again, back and forth. So I was getting angry with them, because when I found out by chance that he came back on the air. Because I took people's word that okay, he's going, he's retiring or something. So I said, boy, I'm not gonna listen to the radio anymore. But one day I just kind of like turned it on, and I found he was on. So I was really, really, really comforted when he came back on. Yeah, yes, I was. And I think the last time I heard from him, it was when his first wife passed away. Yeah, he talked about the incident that happened. Yeah, because I remember I started to watch him again, on the radio, and then one of the shows he was sharing what happened to his first wife, and the next thing I know, he's seen this other person, and then he marries her, and then next thing you know, he's going to be a father, So, wow, I couldn't believe that. I think someone said that was in 2007. I can't believe how time passed. Yeah, can't believe it. I can't believe it. But yeah, he has a child from, I think I might have said his first wife, but no, I think he had someone even before, the other one, before the one that he currently has. Yeah, so he might have been married 3 times, but yeah, he has a child from. Yeah, because one of the shows he talked about that he has had a son, and in '99 his son was 18 years. There was some incident, and his son was 18 years old at the time. Yeah, it was some big scandal. It was really really bizarre. I'm not going to even talk about that. But yeah, he has an adult son. Yeah. So my condolences to the family of Art Bell. Yes, to his children, his wife, and everything. Yeah, Mr. Art Bell was fantastic, fantastic. He's a good example of being a radio talk show host. Um, I I stopped watching. I mean, listening to the radio. I live in New York City, and a lot of the talk show radio personalities, I I don't like. And what I don't like about them is that they just want to shock you. They like to talk potty mouth. They want to do what they call the shock jock. And I said, enough is enough. So I stopped listening to the radio. Let's see when. It might have been 4 years ago. It could have been. It could have been about 4 years ago. I hate it. I hate it. Yeah, it's just they're just getting very vulgar, um, and then they're not Art Bell. And when Art Bell left, back some time ago, I couldn't watch the new Coast to. I think it's called Coast to Coast. I I missed him so much. I couldn't listen to the other people. I It's like he was just the right person for that show, and um, I mean the others are good, but they're not Art Bell. And I said no, I'm not gonna. I guess maybe I'm kind of extreme like that, but yeah, I love my Art Bell, and I said I screwed the show. I shouldn't talk like that, but yeah, I stopped watching that show, and I stopped listening to the radio. Period. Yeah, I stopped for a couple of years now. So yeah, I'm doing YouTube. I like watching YouTube, but even that's starting to change now. Um, but yeah, my deepest condolence to the late Art Bell. He's fantastic, fantastic guy. I I loved Art Bell. I loved his show. It was the first of its kind for me, at least, first of its kind. Yeah. So today, when I got the news, I was outside in the park, and I just couldn't believe it. And I got home, and I said, let me listen, go on my computer, my desktop computer, and find out what happened. And then to find out that it was last week that Art Bell passed, um, then I started to get upset. I was starting to get emotional and lightheaded. I wasn't feeling good. And I said, I'm going to go to the movies just to distract me. I don't want to get pulled down too much. So I said, I want to go see a comedy. So I went to see I Feel Pretty movie. I said, that probably pick me up. And so I went. Um, I liked Overall, I liked the movie. I didn't know it was going to go in the angle that it went to, but there were some very, very funny moments of the movie. And I think how I'm going to tie in that movie and with Art Bell, that I felt Art Bell was real in his, he just seemed very relaxed and unpretentious. At least that's how I took. Again, I never met him at all. But the movie, I Feel Pretty, the person learns. The person went through a process, and um, it was like a full circle. Again, it's a Hollywood movie, but I think it had something to teach, and you could only masquerade for a while, you know, and I think at that time, when I first learned of Art Bell, that people had. I think just before I got to Maui, that I tried to create a particular type of life for me, and it's like I was not able to keep it. And I think when you're designing your life, designing your life so that it'll fit you. Allow wiggle room, but make sure it's to fit your body, not someone else's body, because when things change, you don't want to have to do too much adjustments. You don't want to feel shock. You really have to be yourself, and you have to appreciate yourself. There's nothing wrong of experimenting with different things, different occupations, even different clothing. But there's a point where you have to say, I have to live my life the way that I feel comfortable. And I think that's what the movie was all about. I feel pretty, And you know what else? Looks is relative, It's like in society, they try to teach you that they try to make beauty look like a particular flavor, if I could say it like that. Automatically, if it's this flavor, that's attractive. And so when something else comes along, you're not receptive to it. So what if when you look in the mirror, you're not the current flavor? And then you're going to get yourself all worked up. But it's about perception. If where you live, everybody, you're considered attractive, let's say if you come from a particular country, and anyone from that particular country, when they're met by other people who aren't from that country, they're going to say, oh, wow, these people are so beautiful. But what if all of you are from the same country, and all of you have the same features or same whatever that's considered pretty or handsome? How are you going to interact with each other? So how are you all going to just fawn over each other? Most likely not. You're going to be immune to each other because you're all the same. You have the same attributes. So I'm thinking that with beauty, it's all a psychological game. Whoever who is the have more the political control or conquering nation, that they will set the trend of beauty. They'll determine what sounds good, what type of accent or looks or how they dress. And it's all a mind game. And it can turn in an instant. And I think that was also the key to the movie, that the movie I Feel Pretty, that it was all a psychological game. And at times in that movie, again, I'm not going to go into detail about the movie, but just really how it made me feel and my interpretation, that you can get so psyched up that you can mentally lose it. So we have to appreciate what we have, who we are. And at times, our looks are going to change, our health is going to change, and people are going to possibly treat you differently because of those changes. Those changes may, to other people, be negative and unflattering, and then some of them may want to walk away from you. Some may want to divorce you or not want to associate with you. You have people even who at one time they had money, and then let's say something happens and then they lose it all, and then these so-called friends or family say mañana, then they're no longer around. So so again, it's all perception. So it's better just to be yourself. And those people who don't understand you, if you get older, so-called older looking, or your health isn't the best, or you don't have the type of money as you had before, you got to find an equal ground for yourself, something that you can be steady on, and that would be your baseline of function. It might go a little up some days, maybe go a little down other days, but in all, you have to have that inner stability, because when all the trends change, you might be left behind. So it was, I think, a good lesson, the movie. And I guess how I tied in with the late Art Bell, that it was during a season for me when I first heard of his show in 1999, and 98 and 99. It was at a point where things were, thought was, I was just developing something new. But sometimes life has something else for you, that life, not that something was wrong with it, but maybe the life, the some people call God or your higher self or the creator, they may have other things installed for you to do, and for you to do what you were doing before, it won't match. That you'll be too far away, and so sometimes you have to lose it all because they want you somewhere else. I feel that life really brought me back to New York. I never would have thought I would come back here. And I thought I was just going to be in New York for a short time. I came back to New York from Hawaii about 6 weeks before the 9/11 event that happened at the Twin Towers in New York City. Yeah, everything changed. And so that's really symbolizing to me that there had to be a de-scaffolding, a breaking down. And boy, did I break down. and I continue breaking down. Yep. And so, wow. So this is life. Never would have thought my life would be like this. But life is what it is. And who would have ever thought in 1999 that years later I would be on YouTube talking to people who I don't know. I was very shy back then, but I'm doing this right now. So I hope that I will continue growing in this spirit journey and understand myself and learn how to really go with the punches and not to take things so seriously. Yeah, I get too serious, and I know I'm serious now, but I'm really trying to convey a message here. I feel that you have to be real, and so some things may be more serious and some things more lighthearted, but it's all again a part of my spiritual journey. And I feel that if I can't be honest with people, see, we learn from each other. And so I don't want to create a false image, but it's nice to have a little fantasy out there too. But I want to keep it balanced. What how I might come across. That I'm not perfect, and I'm just like all you guys out there. And some days are up, and some days may not be how you exactly expect it to be. But yeah, so those are the things I learned today and how I felt. Enjoy yourself and enjoy the people that are in your life. And I have my little dogs, and I'm to appreciate the comfort that they give me, and that comfort could come in unexpected places. You have people who they say, I won't have this until yes, how you doing out there, Yakov? Yeah. Yeah, so some people think, I only will be happy if I'm in this type of relationship, or I'm in this type of house, or live in this neighborhood, or whatever. And life is going by, don't wait for those things. Start appreciating what you have now. Because now is the only, the only moment that you do have. So I'm not living in 1999. I'm living in 2018. And I have what I have now. So all of us, are really no different from each other. So just appreciate yourself. Appreciate the person that you see in the mirror. Respect it. Respect that some days you may feel one way, another day you might feel like something else, Yeah, I'm glad that you do okay, Yakov. Yes. Peace and blessing also to you. Yeah. So really start enjoying yourself. And it's okay to set boundaries in your life. It's okay, you could be in a particular situation, a friendship, but sometimes friendships change. And sometimes you just need a change environment. Sometimes you need even to be away from family. If anyone makes you feel like less than something, or that you have to act or be a certain way to be around them, then it's really time to cut them off. To cut them off. And really just start to appreciate yourself. I sense that things are really, really changing. I feel for me, things are really changing inside emotionally. And I know it's not just me. Just going to the movies as I went to today, when you watch what they call the trailers, the subject matters that they're talking about, things are really, really going to really swing differently. Big paradigm shifts. So I know seeing that, you got to get grounded. We all have to get grounded, because I sense that there's going to be a major, major paradigm shift that's going to make many of us, or maybe even most of us, fall hard. So I pray that when that time comes, that I'm able to withstand these social changes that I sense that's going to come, and keep grounded and keep level. And I wish the same thing for you. Yes, I want you all safe, and know that things are going to change culturally here. Things are changing now, but I sense it's going to really, really take a grip very soon. So that's all I have to share for today. But I'm really glad that for my viewers and Yakov, it's good to hear from you. And yeah, I talked about the late Art Bell. He's a radio talk show host, and I talked a little bit about the movie I Feel Pretty, but not detailed about the movie, but just about what I got out of it. Yeah. So I'm glad that you're doing well, and I hope you, Yakov, and the rest of the viewers out there, and those who will watch this stream at a different hour. I thank you for watching. So, Spirit Journey is signing off. May you have a really, really great, great evening. Take care, guys. And aloha. Yeah. Bye bye.